a scary job. And if you get too much moisture in your tank just from living and changing climates, it rains a lot, or if you have a leak, or put some bad gas in there, some dirt gets in there, but it's pretty simple. I'll walk you through what I've done already. So that's what it is a little finishing plate. It's a cover. And there's the gas tank there. Now that just sits on top. It's got some Phillips screws holding it in right here and right here. You don't need many tools, just a Phillips screwdriver and some pliers. But so this is the sending unit here. It also measures your fuel level. It's where it gets power and sends the readings to the gauges or the ECU. But basically that's just held in with some Phillips screws as well. And down in there you'll see your fuel pump. It sits in the tank and it's attached to a fuel filter. I've got the new one, but we'll pull that out later when I go to put it in. So there's two hoses that are attached to these little spouts right. Don't know exactly the difference between the two, but uh, they're wrapped up in that towel. The good thing is a little hint to get a towel, because whenever you pull those hoses off, it's gonna leak a little bit of gas smell to get out of your car, and it's just better to keep gas out of the interior of the car, since the gas tank it is technically in the interior of the car. Just a little quick rehab. This is my NA 1994 Mazda Miata. Pretty straight body, completely stock, 114,000 miles. And this isn't just something that like randomly happened to me. This happens to a lot of Miata owners. Nothing too special about it. So let's get back to it. Let's get back to it. See if I can set this camera up somewhere where I can see this. If I rotate. The screws aren't hard to come out either, but make sure you get a hold on them, because you don't want to, drop it into the little panel right here that goes in between your car and your seats and your gas tank, because you never find them. And then you'd be on a goose hunt for more screws. Your car would be down a couple more days. So just make sure you hold on to them, or you use a magnetic screwdriver. I'm not, so I gotta be extra careful. Looks like there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 screws total. Alrighty. Looks like we got the last one out there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All those are. Now we can start to kind of just take this thing out. Forgot a screw. What do you know about that? Incredible. This is also how you can drain the tank. I've heard that there was a plug on the bottom. I don't know. What you do now is just kind of let this thing drain out. After just let all the gas drain out, so you don't, drip it all through your car. That little fuel bag filter, that thing's what, gets in there. Looking at my gas tank, it looks really clean. So I don't think dirty fuel was the issue. I think it was just a bad fuel pump or moisture maybe. You want to be real careful. This is your float here for your fuel sending unit. It's measures the level of fuel you got. Be real careful not to bend that. It's pretty thin metal. You see all that? See I'm dripping leftover gas into my car. It's gonna reek. Looks like it's pretty clear. See if we can get this thing out pretty quick. Alright. Now we can move it into stage 2. Oh, a little reminder, I should have told you all this. Make sure you disconnect your battery. Because when you disconnect your battery, you're gonna, not to be supplying power to anything electrical. And after you disconnect your battery, turn the lights on, try and honk the horn, crank the key over, press the brakes. It kind of gets rid of any stopped up power in like any capacitor in the system or anything. So that's your fuel pump right there. And in order to change it out, let me see if I can flip it around here. That's your fuel filter. This looks like a little mesh sack. Gonna get gas on your hands. Wear gloves if you're worried about that. I'm not. That's usually what they look like. Looks like it's pretty clean, but I've got a new one. Might as well change it. So there's your connection for the fuel filter there. And it just pops right off of here after you take this clip out. So let's get into that. There's a little rubber band, kind of holds it in place. Just kind of push that thing out of there. Yeah, just like that. See, the rubber band connects to this little piece of rubber here. That'll come off. Just take the screwdriver plate off. That's what holds the fuel filter bag in. And then we'll take this off. So I'll go ahead and set the camera up, and then we'll get into all that. Also in the background, you see my 97 Tahoe. Old dog is what it is. But it's giving me less trouble than this Miata. Now this is the new fuel pump here. Comes with some more pieces on it, such as just a new finishing plate for the bottom, new rubber gasket, new washer, some little hose clamps, and a little piece of hose just in case you need to hook it on there. But I don't think with this one you do. And there it is, encased. Comes with a 1-year warranty. It was about 80 bucks for this and the new filter bag from AutoZone. I didn't even look at it before I left the store, so let's see if those dumbasses got it right. They did. See you later. Just use a Phillips screwdriver down on the bottom of it here. It's just one screw. Go ahead and get a different tip and using a number 1. Don't want to strip that bad boy out. Looks like I'm gonna need a number 2. I'm gonna go find a number 2 bit. Got me a small number 2 here. It should do better than number 1. I was kind of stripping it out. Hopefully you didn't push it too far. Son of a bitch. Yep. I'm afraid that thing is stripped. See if we can pop this thing out here. That's off. Can't really scoot it up. That'll turn into a lesson on how to get a strip bolt out. There's a problem right there. Screw's supposed to come out, it's stripped. It's not one of those things you can force out either. Yep, looks like I'm gonna have to get the drill. Drill that shit out. Okay. It's good. We're kind of just able to pull that thing out of there. Guess we'll just have to leave that strip screw in that shit. Now it looks like here got a completely different type of setup than this one. So let's see if we can transfer some parts over. Here's a bad boy right here. Start with the top. Yep, there's our top spout there. Let's set it on the ground for now. There's a little mini inline filter there. Looks like what seems to be a compression nut. And then a rubber washer. Let's see what we get. Any Miata owners out there, they know. This car's kind of blow. Gotta go find that. Oh, luckily my keen eyesight found it. I don't know if they're still in it. Yep, the filter's still in there. It's a little inline filter in there. I don't know how well y'all can see that. Little grommet that kind of, it's like hard plastic. After this replacement, I guarantee it'll be dust. When I go try and put it back in, gas has that tendency to do that kind of thing, this stuff. And all I'm gonna do is just put it back in the order I found it. So this little, it's like a snap compression ring. Just pops right on. That washer goes right over it. And this thing just seems to, I guess it slides over, it doesn't slide in there. This one slides over, yeah. Slides just over, just like that. Snaps right on. And that's a setup for the top at least. Now the bottom, it doesn't come with a new band that holds it. However, it did come with a new O-ring, which probably would have been nice to know. It looks a lot skinnier than the old one, so I'm going to keep the old on there. You can see the difference. That's the new O-ring. That's the old O-ring. It's not just perspective there either. It's a lot skinnier. So, kind of don't want to put that one back on. As far as the fuel bag, here's a new fuel filter. Let's go ahead and pop that bad bitch open. Kind of had a scare earlier with that stripped bolt, but looks like we're gonna be okay. Now it's got a little protection cover on it so dust doesn't get in there. Throw that back in the box. This also has a protective cover on it so dust doesn't get in there. Throw that back in the box. Here's a new washer, or new rubber washer or boot, whatever you want to call it. And this just kind of slips on in there along with this peg. Just kind of force its way on there. Just like that. I'm guessing this little rubber washer kind of locks it in. It's like a little tooth washer. The thing just presses on. It's kind of a tedious task. That thing's awfully small. But you don't want this falling off in your gas tank. That little rubber washer would probably keep it, but might as well go for full protection. It's kind of hard to get a grip. You don't want to push too hard on the bag. Just for the sake of not ruining something. But I think we got it on there pretty good. And then this washer just slips over it. Just like that. You can kind of see the shape of it. If I can get it all the way depressed down in there. We'll take this here, this little rubber band, looks like that. Slip it back over the top. And then we'll put it back into the sending unit. Put it back into the tank. And prime it up, holding the key. And see how she does. So first we're going to want to put it deep in there like that. This is going to want to go back around here. It's acting like she doesn't want to go. But she'll go sooner than later. No wonder it's not fitting. I had it turned around backwards because I'm retarded. It's got to face this way. This little inward piece is going to be facing, this little plug-in is going to be facing that way. It's kind of self-explanatory, but you know, you fiddle around with it. You'll get it. You'll get it on there, but I'm retarded, so I didn't necessarily notice it. So, just kind of got to squeeze this little rubber washer in there. Bye. Hmm.
Go help Brady. He needs help.
That washer's not the same. Make sure you use
What do
this
you
one.
have to do behind? Oh, I see.
You might want to get
Come
them.
here.
Hey,
Snickers. No, no. Come here.
working with gas over here.
Gotcha.
It's evaporated now, but you know, good. I'm just the fuel tank's in the cab right there, and this is the fuel pump. This is the sending unit.
I forgot you said you were working on fuel pump because I was like, what are you doing back there?
It's not a hard job. It's just taking a little bit. Yeah.
Snickers. Come here. Come here. Brayden doesn't want you.
It's not that I don't want him. I just don't think he should. I don't think he should be over here right now.
We're going to go find him a little harness and take him for a walk.
Mm.
Nick, Nick. Nick.
He's probably all like, "Did you say walk?"
Bye.
Because they did not create commandments. When you hustle, always make it fantasy.
Snickers. I'm really gonna whip him about doing what you want. Come on. Snickers, come here. Come here. Snickers. Bring him with me. You see how Macy is?
About minding.
Good girl, Macy. Come here, Macy. Such a good girl. She really minds well, Brady. We need to make sure we gotta get this one some damn training. Snickers. Come here. Come here. Max. Don't have my shoes on. Come here.
Hmm, hmm.
Start telling you to see that I'm coming at you. I'm supposed to be at you. I got my feet all messed up. Who's mowing wet grass?
Don't know. Nope, I guess we'll put this bad boy back in now. That's basically all there is to it. Sits down in the tank. Oh, wait for somebody to respond watching this. Guess y'all are all not interested. So it faced like this. These two face diagonal towards the passenger seat. You kind of gotta work your float in there. Kind of just work it all the way down in there. Oh yeah, perfect. Then once you're set, start setting your screws down. Let me get my Phillips bit here. Now, like I said, if this seems like a scary job or something, it's really not. It's pretty simple and self-explanatory. Only thing is, you can easily strip out these little Phillips screws. For the ones on the sending unit itself, it's a number 1 Phillips bit. That's important. You can't use the number 2 on them. You strip them out. And they don't have to be like torqued down with the strength of Thor. They just have to be tight. We're gonna go ahead and switch to a number 2. I think a number 2 fits these a little bit better. So maybe I was wrong a little bit. I was using a number 1 to take them off, but the number 2 doesn't seem to strip out as bad. Now there's not like a certain order you gotta put these screws in. I mean, I like to put them in a zigzag pattern, kinda. Just cause, you know, it's a kind of tightens down all areas, just like you tighten down some cylinder heads, just like you tighten down your tires or an old pan, anything. These things just take it nice and easy. You don't want to strip these out, because once you do this, unless you just keep your gas clean and do everything by the book, you probably won't have to do it again. But just in case. So now we can get to the hoses, which is pretty simple. There's a plug right here that goes onto the fuel sending unit. Just plug that bad boy back in. Get to the hoses here. I got them wrapped up in a towel because of the extra gas. And you don't really have to pay attention too much to which hose went on what. They're kind of different sizes. You can tell. You can tell. Oh, there goes some gas right there. Slip it back on. Slip it back on. Take your pliers, some flat nose pliers, channel locks, whatever you want to call them, and then just kind of work it back in. Now, these have been on here so long they kind of made an indention. So dang old. Okay. Looks like we're kind of back to where we started. Yep. You know, for safekeeping, I'm gonna put another hose clamp on here, just for safekeeping, because these are the original hose clamps, and it looks like they're pretty, you know, they might do the job, but this is fuel you're working with, and it's in the interior of your car, so it's kind of not something to take too lightly. Because think if it's constantly dripping or leaking, you get a terrible smell of gas in your cabin. Worse, you're a smoker, fumes. ignite. Yeah, that's not going anywhere. This other one, however, looks like it might be fine because it's not as indented or screwed up. Now the real challenge is gonna come on the day when I have to replace this fuel hose. It seems pretty tight to me. And then put your finishing plate back on. Don't need the pliers anymore. It's kind of lame to get up in there because the carpet doesn't really fold back all the way, so you got to do the last one with the top up. Move around to the other side. If you got enough room in your Miata to stand in here, if you're small, 5'5", 151 pounds. So if you're anywhere in that region, you'll have enough room to work on your Miata anywhere. That's as good as that one's gonna get. Some of these little molly bolts are stripped, so to not strip them, you don't have to put it down all the way. This is just a finishing plate here, so it's not a hollow hole there. Whenever you put something in the back, or on the, I guess I call it a shelf. And for this last one, I'm gonna pull the top up, and then you kind of have to lift the carpet up like this, and then get into it with a screwdriver. Alright, let's finish the job up. Let's just roll this carpet back. Uh-oh, looks like I lost some bolts along the way. Roll it back. It's gonna be kind of deformed because the stuff takes shape. It's being compressed, but the heat will take care of that. Sorry guys, kind of lost you for a second. Just take these here and put it back into these holes. They're these little plastic push pins for car interiors and stuff. You can pick these up at your local hardware store. I'm using the OE JDM ones, excuse me. Some people get butthurt when you say OEM for manufactured parts from the dealership or Mazda itself, and not use JDM. Okay, get that finished. Put the battery terminal back on. Now, those of you who don't know, Mazda Miatas. Oh, sorry, I'm having terrible trouble putting this camera up, man. Mazda Miata's batteries are in the back. They're in the back of the car. And the batteries they come with are usually pretty small. People just, if they want to be lazy, sometimes put lawnmower batteries in this thing. I bought a couple of Miatas. Some of them have lawnmower batteries in the back. But I just take the 10mm. I usually upgrade the battery to a small car battery. Or a little medium-sized car battery, maybe. Definitely helps out a lot. Tighten her up. Put her back on. Put your cover back on. And that's it. Start picking up your tools now. So, pretty simple job. Main reason to tell you if your fuel pump is going bad is it'll not start once it's been running for a while. Start to run kind of lean and your idle messes up. Whenever you have the AC on and then during idle you're not really like opening the throttle to let the engine suck some of the fuel and help out the fuel pump, it acts up and then it won't start up for a while. Can't seem to get gas to it. When I was trying to decipher what it was, I checked the spark, nothing. Everything was good. Checked spark wires, everything was good. Checked the mass airflow sensor, good. Engine wasn't throwing any codes. Checked my coil pack, it was good. Now you can check for codes in your Mazda Miata. You don't use like a regular computer scanner like you would on any newer car. You have to branch these parts, and under your hood it's like a little box that says diagnostics, and you branch them 2 spaces to a ground, and it'll start flashing codes off at you. You can Google the list. That's what I had to do, but there was no codes. I didn't have check engine light on, so guess we're about to start it up, prime it, and see what we can do. See if that fixed it. I just want to put up my tools, get my skateboard out of the way. Too much shit in this small little car. Got the pliers back. Screwdriver goes in the Tahoe. And let this be a lesson to everybody. Keep your tools organized.